I think everyone can relate to this. In Houston, I saw this story from our neighbors down I-45. When you look at 3 Lululemon stores in the last 6 months, they've been targeted by flash mob shoplifters 51 times. Now, we think of that as a California thing or something that happens in New York because they're easy on criminals and they're not going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Also, you're in a city where people think guns are scary because if this happened out in Bug Tussle, I mean, they would be full of bullet holes. It'd be Swiss cheese before they got back to the parking lot. So what do we do about that? Well, hang on. First, let's get a little more informed on the topic and not just get the hyperbolic radio host's opinion on it. This comes from the local NBC affiliate in Houston.
Bold, brazen thieves targeting Lululemon stores all over Houston, and customers have had enough.
For an employee to tell us it doesn't last that long, they're not violent, just hang out for a minute, normalizing that is just insanity to me.
I mean, why? Jess Schindler says she was trapped in this Heights store in February when 5 men barged inside.
Somebody got knocked over that was right in their pathway, and they had these large trash bags, and they were just shoveling as much merchandise as possible.
They're called Lulu Boosters, selling stolen goods on social media. From these stores to your Facebook feed, the organized retail theft is easy to track.
Is that putting a strain on resources for HPD?
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot of calls for service.
Check it out. In just 6 months at the Heights store, the Rice Village, and the City Center Lululemon locations, flash mob shoplifters struck 51 times. On January 4th, thieves stole 210 pairs of leggings worth $21,000 from the Rice Village location. 1 hour later, a group took $18,000 worth of clothes from the City Center store. And reports show on January 18th, thieves returned to the Heights location 3 times, at 1:02 p.m., again at 3:12, and a third time at 4:10. A more than $10,000 day for thieves who simply walked out.
Do you think there's something Lululemon could be doing to prevent these crimes?
From what we've seen at other department stores is they have some form of security, either inside the store or outside the store.
Lululemon doesn't really have that.
Not that I've seen, no.
Have you asked why?
I have, but I have not gotten an answer yet.
When we reached out to Lululemon, a spokesperson sent us this statement that explained the company does use on-site security in some stores across the country and that they are continually assessing and updating their security measures.
Why is everybody that works here so calm about this? It's like they're, they've acclimated to this environment.
And HPD officer Mike Medina says the shoplifters he's arrested with the stolen Lulu clothing are acclimating too.
They have said in the past that they're just going to get out and do the same thing.
Like Dave.
Okay, so before we get into, we'll cut it off there and not get into who's doing this. But this is exactly what you thought, isn't it? You already know the solutions I'm about to say in your head because it's almost common sense. And that's one of the frustrating parts about listening to the rest of the media. Once you turn on your brain and you have discriminating thoughts, and I don't mean discrimination. I just mean you're able to make some judgments. It's okay, well, first thing we can do is if someone does this and we catch them, we can put them in jail for a long time because they say when they get out of jail, they're going to do it again. So what do you do to prevent them from doing it again? You leave them in jail. So you quickly found out what I found out the first time I heard that story is, yeah, it happened 51 times in 6 months, but it's probably the same 12 people just doing it over and over. And the lady in the news report, how do you explain why all the employees are acting so calm about it? It happens 3 times a day. If it's happened 51 times in 6 months, you'd be pretty calm about it too. But look, there's a multi-pronged approach. It's just not that simple. First thing you can do, number one, before the attacks continue, because we've already had the attacks, so we can't prevent them all, but to prevent the ones going forward, let's pursue all the Lululemon resellers online. It looks like it'd be pretty easy to track these people down. It doesn't look like they put a whole lot of thought into this. They just go in with garbage bags, take a bunch of $100 pants, which I don't know why stretchy pants have to cost $100. That's between you and China. But they take it online and immediately sell it, Facebook Marketplace or wherever. So why don't you just go look up people who are selling tons of Lululemon on Facebook Marketplace, go put handcuffs on them, and guess what? They won't be able to do the next attack. Now, at the point of attack, this is easy. This is the Texas solution. We all thought of this. Just shoot them. That's how you stop them. Someone stealing, shoot them. And the common response you'll hear, well, no amount of merchandise is worth someone's life. Right. So you probably don't want to get that merchandise. It's not worth your life. And then after the attack, arrest all of them. Pursue them with 1/100th the fervor of the January 6th protesters. Track these dudes down. Oh, this is straining police resources. No. Letting them back out is straining police resources because they have to catch the same people 6, 7, 8 times. If we only brought that down to one time, or maybe instead of arresting them and having to take them to jail, you were going and taking the body and throwing it on a gurney and carting it out of there, those people aren't going to reoffend either. So easy to fix this. And yet you have the media reporting on it, just pretending like they don't know. I don't know what we could do about this. Well, we've got to come up with a community solution. We've probably got to have some meetings or, I don't know, a new law passed. No, you don't. And if Lululemon doesn't want to shoot their looters, let us pass a law. If you see someone shoplifting, you can shoot them on the spot. How about that? We can just end it right there and we'll make a game out of it. We'll see who can bag the most shoplifters before Christmas. It really is that easy. Am I crazy? It's that easy. Pursue all the resellers online. At the point of attack, shoot them. And then after the shoplifting, track them all down, arrest them all, and put them in jail for a very long time. It's how we've solved pretty much every criminal problem that we've had in America for the first 49 years? So, yes. I'll get off my soapbox now. Not that I'm out here to defend Lululemon. I hope it goes away because Miss Parker likes to spend $90 or $100 on a pair of stretchy pants, and they do look good on her. In fact, they it's the $100 though. That's where I have a problem. I don't have a problem with the pants. It's the $100 that gets me. Cheryl in Dallas, what would you do?
Hi, how are you? So I'm a retail manager actually in Uptown at a major retailer, and we get shoplifted probably two to three times a day. And just like Lululemon, as employees, there's not a thing we could do.
Wait.
If we did,
Cheryl, when you say shoplifted, do you mean someone takes a shirt or someone comes in with a garbage bag and takes a ton of stuff?
someone takes one of my bags and fills it with items and walks out the door. And there's nothing we could do except file a police report online because the Dallas police will not come out for shoplifting. So, and as employees, we could get fired if we try and pursue them or stop them. I've literally asked people, you need to pay for that. You need to stop. I have cameras. You need to stop. And they just continue to walk right past me.
Well, why not? What's the negative consequence of them stealing from you? Sounds like nothing.
Exactly. And the police, the Dallas police will not even come out on a shoplifting call. We have to just file an online report.
Isn't it so much money, though, that you would be better off hiring a security guard to take care of that?
You would think. And the problem is you really don't know how much you're losing because you can't see everything they're taking from
Well, yeah,
you.
but next time you do inventory, you realize you're missing 18 of this specific pair of pants. Yeah, I did a little bit of retail. I know how inventory works.
Yep.
You got to stay after you close until like 9 o'clock at night to beep all the tags. It's annoying as heck. Cheryl, I wish you could just shoot them.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, right? But no, and I get it. I guess they factor in, companies are factoring in a percentage of loss in their business.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing that they do in the math on the self-checkout lanes, because with self-checkout, I think all of us at this point have accidentally stole something through the self-checkout lanes. And I bet you there's a whole nother layer of society that tries to see how much they can steal every time they go through. How much can I just bring across the scanner without it beeping and no one noticing? And I think grocery stores know that's going to happen. Walmart knows that's going to happen. But it's not that, are you going to steal through the self-checkout lanes? Are they going to have some items lost? Will they lose so much items that it's cheaper to have someone scan the items for them? Are they going to steal more than a cashier cost? This is Brad in Grand Prairie. You're on WBAP. What would you do about the flash mob looters?
Well, I don't really have a solution, but I do have a root of the problem.
Oh, a root. I like the sound of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm an educator in DFW, and I'll tell you this. It's starting in the schools. Because there are problems that we have in our public school system today, and a lot of it is discipline, and the administrators are so overrun that they just basically let kids get away with things that they, without any punishment nowadays. And so what students are learning as much as anything else in our public schools is that they can do things that are against the rules, and they're not going to be punished.
God, you put that kind of mindset right alongside the curriculum that says you've been historically discriminated against and stolen from and exploited and used by this evil society around you that'll never give you a fair shot, even if you work hard and stay in school and do all the right things. The whole thing's always going to be set against you. And all these people who happen to be a little bit lighter skinned than you probably hate you and want to see you suffer. And you're really incentivizing the creation of criminals where they otherwise wouldn't exist.
Exactly. They're learning that, hey, if you do something wrong, the people in power are not going to stop you.
Well, look, and here's the super frustrating part about that, Brad. So many times we brag about when people turn out to be terrible human beings, that something must have happened with the parents. This isn't even the parents' fault. This is like cultural school administrator, curriculum,
They're
right.
learning it in our schools.
All right. Well, thanks for making me more frustrated, Brad, but you're not wrong.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay.
Tom in Frisco, you're on WBAP. How would you stop it?
Shoot them, but not with a bullet, with paint. Arm their employees with little cans of spray paint.
Spray paint.
And once these people start...
What about burn-a-guns? You know how Dan Bongino and Sean Hannity and so many other talk radio hosts advertise for these burn-a-guns? They're not firearms. I think they run off compressed air, but it's a kinetic round, and you could hurt them without killing them or running the risk of killing them. Doesn't Lululemon want to do something to stop this? Don't they want to at least attempt to discourage it? Can we at least get a slingshot maybe to hit them with, or can we get a box of rocks and we'll just chuck rocks at them? Can we do anything?
Yeah.
Right. Literally anything would help.
Well, like I say, the paint would serve multi-purposes. First of all, once they started stealing stuff, you spray them with paint, and one of the employees calls the cops and says, look for somebody with yellow paint coming in out of this area.
Yeah, and paintballs aren't pleasant to get hit with, even if they take their shirt off. Right. I look for the guy running down the street with a bunch of welts on his back. That's not bad. Non-lethal rounds. Good stuff. Tom in Frisco. David in Grapevine, you're on WBAP. What's your solution, sir?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. So I say forget about putting him in jail because that's just going to cost more tax dollars. But adopt some laws from other countries where you cut their hands off. For each offense they have, cut their hand off.
Well, we have the Bill of Rights that forbids cruel and unusual punishment. How would you get around that?
Well, I mean, maybe we should think about that and enforce it. Other countries, that's how they stop theft. And so that seems to work for them. Okay,
so we can get the federal government to now designate the slicing off of your hands that no longer counts as cruel and unusual punishment. And then we get around all that. Because actually, it is cruel, but if we do this to all shoplifters, it would be a usual punishment. It would no longer be an unusual punishment. And so I think we've done a successful workaround there, David.
Yeah, I think so. I think we could do that. And,
look, I had friends that I used to work across the hall with from the Middle East and a couple of them from Saudi Arabia, and they would brag in their home country they don't have theft because if you get caught, you get your hand chopped off. So even rich people, like if you have car trouble on the side of the road in Saudi Arabia, you can just get out of the car and even leave your keys in it and go deal with it. Make a call on your cell phone or walk to the nearest gas station or whatever. And you don't have to worry about your car getting stolen or anyone opening it and going through and stealing stuff out of your console. Crime is like that. Property crime is very rare in their country.
Very rare.
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
So they don't have to worry about that, but you do have to worry about your wife getting beaten up for wearing a bikini. That's kind of a negative too. So there's a trade-off there, David. But I'm not completely against hand slicing. Maybe we should try it. Jeff is going to be next. Jeff in Denton. What would you do about the shoplifting, Jeff?
I used to live in Houston. A lot of bars in Houston. Go down there, get 3 bouncers, baseball bats, have them sit around, wait for these thugs to come in, knock them in both knees with a baseball bat, grab their phone and wallet, pull their mask off, and tell them to leave the store.
If they see the guy, the heavy fellow with the baseball bat, maybe we can wrap some barbed wire around it like The Walking Dead. I don't think they'll do shoplifting. They might just go on to the next store. That would work, Jeff. And you know what? It sounds silly, and y'all can laugh at Jeff because, baseball bat bouncer, funny accent. It's better than what they're doing, isn't it? Gary in Kaufman, you're on WBAP. Real quick, how would you fix it?
Well,
James, I would put those exploding die pack pins on the clothes.
Like they do at the bank?
Yes. That way, once it goes through the sensor at the front door, it pops. They can't resell it.
Yeah, maybe so. Why don't they do that already if it's that simple? All right. Do I have time to squeeze in one more? Monty in Wichita Falls, literally 30 seconds. Go.
Real quick, why in the world are we even considering stupid things that cost our stores more money? We need harsh punishment, and we need to create ordinance that don't punish people who try to protect their stores. You know, we arrest the people that try to protect their stores because they smacked somebody with a bat or pulled a gun on somebody. Let's get off of that, and let's let people protect their own property, and perhaps, maybe if there's consequences from the ground up, schools all the way up, people will quit, and the ones who won't will get eliminated.
All right, well, you got the last word on that, Monty in Wichita Falls. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much for hanging out with the James Show today. Come check out the James Show podcast if you want to listen anytime between now and 2 o'clock tomorrow. You can still hear the James Show whenever you want. Just look for it wherever you're listening to podcasts, WBAP.com, WBAP app. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3.